Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Live Boldly with Sara. Today we're going to talk about stop making excuses and how do we stop making excuses in our life? How do we start taking responsibility, accountability for the things that we want to achieve, those dreams, those goals, those ambitions, and simply for our life? How do we take responsibility for how we are living it each and every day? Okay, this is what started all of this. Last Monday morning, I decided kind of last minute that I was going to go climb a peak with a dear friend of mine here in Los Angeles. We did Muir Peak. And we met at 4:15 a.m., started climbing, watched the sunrise on top and the moon set. It was beautiful. I think it was a full moon. It was a worm moon. So I took this picture of myself. Well, I didn't. My dear friend Coco did. She took this picture of me on the peak with the sunrise and the moon set. And when I got off, I wrote this to this picture and I posted it in my stories. And I wrote, "One less moon set and sunrise in my life." Yeah, that like right there. There's one less moon set and sunrise in my life. And you know what? That's cool because I didn't sleep through it like I will all the rest after I am dead. Something for you to think about in your own life. So I posted that in my stories, right? And it ended up being one of the most liked, loved, most impactful stories that I've ever had. I don't know the last time that I've had that many people, that much reach on one story, reshares all of it. What I realized was how many of us are literally simply existing in this world. We're not even living our life. Now, fast forward on Wednesday of this last week, and if you have not listened to it, go listen to it. I had Betsy Aaron on. Betsy is living with stage 4 stomach cancer. She is amazing. It's not like she's some big celebrity or influencer or whatever, which is why I love having people like this on my podcast, because it's not about that, right? It's not about the number of followers. I even did this in my stories in Instagram and Facebook as well. I love people with real stories. I love people that are having and creating impact in this world. And you may never have heard their name before. Well, now you have Betsy Aaron. Because Betsy, I asked her at the end of this interview, first of all, she's hilarious. Like, we laughed so much on that episode, and laughter is such a healing tool. And at the end of the episode, I asked her this question. I said, if you had a stage and one message to share with this world, what would it be? And she said, I don't know if I could say this, but I would say, don't blank F this up. I just started laughing because I was like, I so relate to this. Don't screw this up. As she said, don't F this up, but don't screw this up. She said, you only get one shot at this. Stop telling yourself fairy tales. Stop lying to yourselves. Stop lying to others. Because here's the thing. When you're lying to other people, you're also lying to yourself. And that will hold you in a state of dishonesty. Dishonesty of who you are and how you are choosing to live in this lifetime. And then she went on to say, show up in your life. Show up each and every day. Not only showing up, this is how I took it. Not only showing up, but showing up as this grandest version of yourself, as if you are on stage under a spotlight for you, not for anyone else, but for you. And then she went on to say, show up and live it. Be present, be vulnerable, be honest. All the rest is a waste of time. And this time is precious. Did you know that less than 8% of the things that we actually worry and stress over will happen? That means that less than 1 in 10 things that you create, that you put energy into, less than 1 in 10 things, all the things that we put energy into, less than 1 in 10 things is actually going to happen. It's actually worth it. And so when we start to actually pull back, right, when we start to look at our life in that way, when we start to see what's important, we stop making excuses and we start putting energy into the things that do matter. I really started thinking about it this week. I'm like, because I had a week where I was putting energy and I noticed it where it didn't matter, where it didn't belong. It wasn't going to change the situation that I was in the middle of, right? And so when I pulled back and I started to think about it, and this is the same with everybody's life, if we stop focusing on the things that don't matter and we started putting our energy into the problems that we can fix, into the problems that do matter, into the situations, the dreams, the goals, the aspirations that do matter, imagine the impact that that will have, the positive impact that that will have on our life, on not only existing in this world, but in living in this lifetime. So that's why I decided to do this episode, because I realized that even in my own life, I have made excuses. I've made excuses as to why I have continued to put energy into things that I can't fix, that do not matter. I was putting energy into the other 9 things that I could not control, right? The one thing that I can. There is one thing that you can control in this life, and that is you. That is how you respond, not react. That is how you choose to live your life. That's in the decisions and the choices that you have available to you. So I wanted to do this episode and I want to dive into how do we stop making excuses? And where can we put our energy? The number one most important thing that we can do is take responsibility. Take responsibility for the things, take control for the things, for your destiny, take control of the things that you can, right? Take responsibility for your own responding, not reacting to things. You can shift your perspective. That's why I go climb mountains in the middle of the night sometimes, because I always say we all walk through darkness. And the most important thing is not to set up camp there. So for me, when I'm climbing, I'm not telling you to go climb a mountain in the middle of the night. Okay. For me, though, when I go climb a mountain in the middle of the night, it's like walking through my own darkness to then see this incredible sunrise on the top. And that's the light that I am walking towards. Shift your perspective, right? Because you're going to walk through darkness many, many, many times. I talk in my keynote about how one problem solved creates a foundation for solving all future problems. And you have solved so many problems in your lifetime already, and we seem to forget that. Every single one of us are problem solvers. So how do we stop making excuses and solve the problem that's right in front of us instead of focusing on the things that we really have no control over? Right? We're carrying other people's problems. Go listen to other podcast episodes that I have released about that one story where I was carrying this pack, right? One of my dear friends, when I was climbing up a mountain with him, he kept putting rocks in my pack. And I realized how many, through all of those rocks that he had been putting in my pack, how many problems that I had also been carrying in my life that were not mine, right? So stop making excuses and start focusing on the things that do matter. The other thing we can do, change your story. That's huge right there. Change your story from the things of like, all right, well, I'm not capable of doing this, into the things of I have everything in my power and in my existence to solve the things that are right in front of me because I've solved so many problems in my past. Stop overthinking. We overthink so many things in our life. Why? We ruminate. We fall into that rabbit hole of all the reasons that we can't do something instead of focusing on the things that we can. I oftentimes use this one tool, and this is so good. And I've said this a million times already. I've talked about this so often. When you are in this moment of not sure of a choice or a decision, or you're sitting in this problem and you're ruminating on the thing in front of you, ask yourself at 108. Ask yourself at 108, what would you say to me at this moment? What would you tell me at this moment? What advice would you give? I use the number 108 because I feel like I'm going to live to 108, but you can use the number of 92 or 86 or whatever it is. And most importantly, will your future version of self be proud of you at this present time? And if the answer is no, then you got a little work to do on that, because my hope is that my future version of self, that person who takes her last breath, right, and leaves this earth, that she is doing so without regrets on how she lived this life, that she can be very proud of herself and this impact that she has left. So the other thing that you can do, uncover your limiting beliefs, because we all have them. We all have limiting beliefs in our lifetime. We all have these things that we are those things that we set up on ourselves of like, well, I can't achieve that because of X, Y, Z reason. But that goes into shifting your perspective on yourself, right? We have this imposter syndrome. Many of us have imposter syndrome. I've had imposter syndrome where I've felt like, why of all people am I this person set out to make this happen? And on the flip side of this, I always ask myself, why not? Why not it be me? Because if it has to be somebody, I did this actually, and let me share this. When I was sitting in an interview to be an art teacher back in, I don't even know what year, I was in my young 20s, and I was stepping into an interview at Wauwatosa School District for this interview. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, there are so many people that are up for interviews as art teachers. And there are not that many art teachers in schools. Ended up being the art teacher at a middle and elementary school in Wauwatosa School District, and I oversaw the art department. And I remember thinking when I went up for this interview, okay, if there are so many other people up for this interview, what makes me think that I can get it? And my whole response to myself was, when I was in this imposter syndrome state, somebody has to take the position. So if somebody has to take the position, why not it be you? Because Sara, you are really good at what you do. And they would be crazy to not hire you, right? And they did hire me. And I ended up loving my career. I loved my job as an art teacher. I loved my job as co-chair of the art department. And so, stop telling yourselves these stories that are also limiting your own belief of yourself. With every courageous step that we take, we build our confidence. And you have to get out of your own head and take those steps, those courageous steps along the way, in order to build that confidence to do the things that we are ultimately there to achieve, right? Sometimes, though, we are in our own way. And those are those limiting beliefs, those imposter syndrome, that saboteur that we all live with, because we all have a human ego, and that human ego can strike whenever, at times that we least expect, right? And sometimes when we do expect, I've had a strike when I was like, oh, here we go again. There's the imposter syndrome, the saboteur that just steps in right when I don't want her to. So the most important thing, though, to stop making excuses, this has worked for me, is to define your vision in life. Do you have a vision? Not only on the things that we want to achieve, not only on the doing, right? The things that we want to create. Do you have a vision and how you want to be in this lifetime? Because remember, you are a human being, not a human doing. There's a big difference. So do you have a vision on how you actually want to live your life, not simply exist? Do you have a vision on how you want to be? Now, me, I've lived a life. I'm 50, right? As you all know, because I talk about that. I have lived a life with, unfortunately, a lot of drama. And this is the year where I am cleansing that to the core and saying, this is not how I want to be. I want to live in peace. I want to live in freedom. I want to set even more forward-thinking, forward-being boundaries so that I can stop focusing on the things that do not matter and only focus on the things that do, which is my own internal peace, my own freedom, my relationships with other people, my partnerships, my business. I want to focus on keynote speaking more. I want to focus on bringing more of this to all of you on this podcast. I want to focus on creating more good and not having my focus be diverted or hijacked into the things that I really have no control over and I don't care about, right? The drama, that crap. And so when you are thinking about your own vision, how do you want to live? How do you want to be? How do you want to do? And what does that look like to you? One of the things that I have done is every year I make myself a vision board. I do it at the beginning of the year. I've done that. It's actually right underneath my desk right now. And every now and then I pull it out and I take a look at it. And I notice, wow, we're doing this right now, Sarah. We're doing that right now, Sarah. We're learning in this, we're learning in that. We're creating in this, we're creating in that. It's not only about the doing though, it's about the being. Remember that. So the vision is twofold, balance with both. And if you're a writer, write about it. If you are a speaker, pull out your phone, put your phone onto record and record yourself. Like, this is how I want to be in the year 2024. And it's never too late. I realize that we are a quarter way through this year. It's never too late. Don't waste another day waiting for tomorrow. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Don't waste another day waiting for tomorrow. You know, dang, I got to write that down and post that on my refrigerator. That's good. The most important thing that you can do is to stay true to who you are and the values that you hold. And when you do that, I promise you, your excuses will begin to fall off of the train and you will start really navigating your way in this lifetime so that you can live more abundantly in your true vision of who you are and how you want to be. Hey, with that, if you're interested, because I've also pivoted up in my life and this vision in my business and how I want to be for all of you and do for all of you, we have changed up our Grand Canyon retreats, my friends, because I had a lot of people that were saying to me, hey, look, Sarah, I've done a lot of the work on my trauma, on my healing. I need something that's going to jumpstart my life. And so we have pivoted this retreat June 9th through the 13th. It's co-ed. It's already filling up, limit 8. It is now half price, by the way, because we are doing less coaching prior to and less coaching after. We have 2 coaching sessions before the retreat. We have a 5-day intensive in the Grand Canyon, and then 2 coaching sessions post. And these are primarily for those people that are looking to really ignite their life, where they are looking to find and align with that unstoppable version of yourself, where you are looking to have a lot of fun, right? And to spark who you are again, to feel alive again, to ignite that positive energy within ourselves so that we can make some very bold choices, those bold decisions in our life to live, not simply exist. So if this sounds like you, it is co-ed. Like I said, we are filling right now. I am taking applications. The reservations need to be in by April 20th. Message me, Sarah@sarahschultencrans.com. Or go into my Instagram, message me through that. You can do that as well through my DMs or Facebook. I have a hard time always getting into the Facebook DMs. I try as hard as I can because I do my own social media. But really, go into my email, Sarah@sarahschultencrans.com, or into my DMs in Instagram or LinkedIn, and let's get you in. Let's set up a call and see if it's the right fit for you. Because I'm telling you, the number one most thing that I hear from people after these retreats is I feel alive again. And I think that through this lifetime, right, we have these little moments where we are ignited and then it just gets pushed down again by the daily monotony of life, right? And then we have another, I'm feeling ignited again. And then it's just like pushed down again. My goal for all of you through these retreats is to get you to feel alive, to get to that place of, yeah, you know what? I am here. Like, I do not want to waste another day of my life. I don't want to screw this up, as Betsy Aaron says. I want to live my most honest, authentic, and vulnerable self in that space. I want to achieve everything that I'm here to do and to be. And so if that's you, message me, let's get you in, because this will fill up. It is half price, and I would love to see you there. With that, stop making excuses, my friends. Go listen to this podcast again, take notes on it, and please share with your friends, your family, ripple it out into the world, and let me know how this resonated with you. Go into my DMs when you do share this on social media and let me know how this resonated. I love hearing from you. I love getting my text messages, my emails, and passing this on. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Go listen to Betsy Aaron's podcast from last week. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So good. And subscribe, rate, review, and get this out into the world. I love you. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day.